Cool. What's up, guys?
Hey, everybody.
It is Brandon Zimmerman.
Kevin
And
Zeigler.
cool. And we're back for Synergy Artcast episode 4, the importance of studying. So I guess we're going to talk about the different forms of studying that you can do, like reading books and studying the actual programs that you'll be using when digital painting and stuff like that. So I'm pretty excited. What I'll be doing today for on screen is setting this image, but instead of grass, I'm going to be painting snow. So it ties into the piece that I've been working on for a little while on that. And I'll explain why I'm doing that also. Any hellos, Kevin?
Not yet.
Not yet. No hellos? You don't want to say hi?
Hey, everybody. My Photoshop is being... there we go.
What are you going to be doing?
I'm just doing some doodles for now. The Joker head that I started last week. I'm going to just keep jamming on that. See what I come up with.
Cool. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
So what is your favorite thing to study? Like, what do you like to study the most?
Studying, I definitely like studying like comics and things. Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. What is going on with my screen?
I'm sorry?
My screen. I can't get my Photoshop up.
You have to go to the little green button that says screen share.
Yeah. No, don't open Skype. This is terrible. All at once.
You got that? Where's your Google?
Yeah.
Cool. Screen share.
It was there.
Is your Photoshop open?
Yeah, it like disappeared.
Just share full screen. And then just press share.
Yeah.
Now just go to the Photoshop file. Let's go to Photoshop. There you go. Not sharing.
Weird. It wasn't doing that before. We're all
Cool.
good.
Everything's figured.
Awesome. Good here.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started on this. So I think studying programs is just as much important as studying life. I feel like you need to learn the programs that you are using to a higher degree than just being able to paint. I feel like you need to learn the aspects of like the histogram levels and other parts of Photoshop. And like when new things come out, such as the 3D tools that Photoshop just released, super helpful to start to understand that. I've started to study that a little bit. Now in SketchUp, you can actually export and bring it into Photoshop on different layers, which is pretty fun.
That would be awesome. That would save a lot of time for a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I use Photoshop a lot, or not Photoshop, SketchUp.
Yeah.
A lot, especially with my more architectural designs.
Right. Yeah. Comic book artist Lionel Yu uses SketchUp a lot, and his work really benefits from it because he's able to like get a quickness of like a building or something. And that's the benefit of studying buildings. Like, because I think it was in college, I took a 20th century architecture class, and I was bored to death of it. And the one thing that I kind of used to cling on to throughout the whole course was just like trying to understand different aesthetics and be able to apply them to like comic booking and doing that kind of thing. So knowing the different structures of buildings in like a cityscape in New York as opposed to a cityscape in Chicago.
Yeah.
And that kind of stuff I found really interesting. And I kind of like history. I like looking at different time periods to see the norms there that were created in either like design or aesthetic wise. And then you take that and like apply it to if you're doing a book, historically.
Yeah. Like today we were watching the history of samurais, which was pretty fucking cool.
That's good.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And I feel like studying those stories can also give you a better sense of storytelling, which can, inherently make your art better. Like say you're painting a samurai, you should know the story of what samurais did throughout their life, and the way that they held their sword is actually super, super mathematical. That was a lot of fun to learn about.
Yeah, and those are like details and things like when you just really immerse yourself in whatever in your studies as an artist, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
The details that you pick up on are kind of the goal as an artist. You want to like know your details, study whatever, but like I think really good artists are people that can describe their own details that they've picked up and be able to illustrate it to a level that somebody else would be like, oh, that's art. Before I got distracted with my screen, I was talking about comics. Studying comics was always a big one for me because going into storytelling, like comic books were where I kind of learned beats and rhythm and like the end and the cliffhanger. And then when I started to actually like learn more of the drawing side, you learn the page breaks where like, you want to draw the eye from left to right, but then also go down and then back, and kind of cool ways to incorporate storytelling into a grid system.
I think studying storytelling is super, super good for artists, especially like I read almost nothing but Philip K. Dick.
Yeah,
I love everything by Philip K. Dick. Super inspired by him. But through reading all that stuff, it really gives me an understanding of like how technology feels at an emotional level and how people can react towards it, even though we don't have the capacity to react toward it yet in the way that he's prescribed in his books.
Right, with the like kind of everyday appliance or everything is future tech.
Yeah.
But
I feel like he has like this normality about the technology. That's really nice to read.
Yeah, they aren't advertising the new hoverboard or Jaws 3D. It's like
they're not like hoverboard.
Everyone,
the characters riding the hoverboard. It's
the characters aren't accentuated by they're only accentuated by the details. They are not like the character themselves, the defining thing.
Yeah. And I guess that kind of goes into like how I study. I was telling people that's I would tell them. So when I study, it's for a purpose. So like that piece that I've been working on for a while now, I don't know how to paint rocks very well. So instead of studying translucency in the morning or studying some obscure thing that's not going to immediately be applied to my art, I'm going to figure out what I can't paint while I'm painting my big illustration, and then I'm going to go and study and then apply that study to my piece. I feel like that's a part that a lot of people miss out on, is the application of their studying.
Yeah, that's definitely a great way to do it, because if you try to be the type artist that like, oh, I need reference for everything before I do anything, you get caught up in that, like, the squirrel storing all their nuts and not ever using what they already know and kind of working with that to find a new thing.
Yeah.
If you just sit there and reference everything, you'll never find a happy medium in your work.
I mean, with that being said, I do think reference is important, but I feel like you need to study the reference before or you need to figure out what you can paint in order to find a reference. Because for some reason, like skies, I love painting skies. So I'll figure out the kind of sky that I want to paint. And if I'm not liking how it's coming out, I'm just going to go ahead and find reference and then study that reference instead of just copying it.
Yeah,
You know?
totally. I'm gonna say studying in that way is great, because the more you study things, you will start to learn like how, this tree looks like that. And, like I was saying earlier with those architecture classes, I just sat there and like studied them just so I kind of know in my head what a certain thing looks like here or there.
Yeah.
And the more you do that, you'll build a library that you can quickly go to, and then the references that you look for. And speaking of references, I'm definitely going to need a gun reference for this. Joker's going to hold a big old gun.
Yeah. Another part of reference and studying is the functionality of the reference or the study that you're doing. Like say that you're studying mechanical parts or you want to make a gun. You need to actually learn, instead of know what's there, you need to actually learn what it does. Same reason why studying stories is so important. You need to understand the story or the function of that gun, like the firing pin and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, no, that's definitely a plus.
Well, because like once you understand how it works, you can then improve upon that. Like make your own design, your own pivots, your own, etc.
Let's see.
Now, how do you usually start out your studies?
How do I begin? Well, this is kind of how I start, actually. Nope, don't want that. Don't know what that is. I'll get really vague and then try and think of more. I know exactly what I want. I started with just a random vague word or object, and then I'll look at, exactly what I want. So I'm doing this Joker piece, and I thought it'd be cool to put like a machine gun in his head. And then as I was drawing it, I realized it definitely wanted a John Dillinger look. So I'm just gonna.
I guess I should tell people where I got this image from. Also, this is from Noah Bradley's Switzerland pack. And if you guys don't know who Noah Bradley is, he's a super good artist. And he releases these image packs about at least once every 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
He travels quite a bit, and I have, I think, 6 packs from him. They have, hundreds of pictures in each of them, and they're super good. He's got awesome textures, and it seems like he knows how to use the camera right, so you can get some pretty good colors and lifelike colors in them, because he's taking them for the importance of an artist to use. So
Right, so he's finding, things that you can just spark an idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and they're completely free. I think he's given all rights to them. I don't quote me on that. I think that he's pretty much said, hey, here's pictures, do with what you will. But don't quote me on that. So super nice guy though. He was actually at SCAD about a year or 2 ago. It was right before he released a video about, I think it was a blog post about not going to art school.
Yeah.
Pretty funny.
I like those. Those are always good.
Yeah. And I guess another thing with studying is just travel a lot. That's not a luxury that I have yet, but one day I do hope to just travel. I want to see everything, you know.
Yeah, traveling is really cool. I mean, I was fortunate in high school to go to Scotland and London.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that was really awesome. You know,
Yeah.
like seeing King Arthur's Seat, which was right there in Edinburgh, Scotland.
Isn't that super disappointing? I've heard.
I loved it.
I was told it was just like a wooden block.
Oh no! Well, it's a mountain, and then like it's a pretty like steep mountain. That's just it looks like a giant would sit on. They call it King Arthur's Seat, but yeah, up top, yeah, there's not. I don't remember there being. There might have been like a placard or something.
Mm-hmm.
But we walked up it like every morning. That was a cool experience to like walk up a mountain every morning. Didn't have that in my life. You know, I had no reference or idea for that coming from cornfields of Indiana. So, yeah, I have a bunch of different things that I, you know, take picture or have old pictures from that. And I'm like, that's a terrible photo of me as I was a middle school or high schooler, freshman. But that's a great mountain behind me. And I'm going to use that in something, somehow.
Let's see here. What am I going to do?
I don't know, man.
I'm really liking this. What programs do you use other than Photoshop, or like traditional media do you like to use?
Traditional media that I like to use?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I love a good, you know, moleskin to do sketches in, or do like some kind of value or something. Sometimes I'll get the thicker moleskins, and you can use like Copics and stuff on that. I like using those. But probably, you know, a good old vellum is my go-to for anything that I'm going to do traditionally. It's just like an 11 by 17 vellum. So that's perfect for comic books. And then, you know, if it turns into a cool piece, then I have a cool actual like print that I can sell, or original that I can have. But yeah.
Have you ever studied from another artist's original?
Oh yeah. When I was learning like how to use gouache and stuff, and I did Monet.
Mm-hmm.
That was the first time I did like an artist's master copy.
Yeah.
And it is very interesting to do those because you find yourself like trying not to use the lines or the language that you built up in your head of like how anatomy goes, or how, you know, you want to draw the eye this way. No, this is how it's drawn. This is how he looked and saw this image. You know, there's this little like shadow right there. That was fun to do master copies. And that's how I learned a lot of like early anatomy stuff. As I gunk up this arm over here.
Now, do you study anatomy every day?
Not every day, but you know, I have like a rinky-dink little chart over here of like an old illustrated anatomy of like the muscles.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've stared at that every day, so that's some hard studying. And then I have a face one for like the skull and how the muscles of the cheek are. That's always good for and you're trying to like come up with an expression, but like trying to push a certain shape or the way the eye looks or whatever, you can kind of look up, or I'll look up at it and be like, well, yeah, that's right. That's where that missile would be. That'd be great.
I recently watched an interview with, I think it was Bobby Chu and Ian McKeag. Ian McKeag was saying that he copied the figure drawing for all it's worth by Loomis almost before every project he started.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. That's definitely something that I want to do.
Damn. That's how you do it.
Yeah. I think that's one of those things that needs to be a daily study is anatomy. Now there's things out there that don't necessarily need to be studied every day, but I feel like that's definitely one of the.
I mean, it's definitely key. You know, I was actually, a buddy of mine was talking about like things that he does for like, if he's looking for something more dynamic in his poses, or like, you know, he wants a really epic action kind of shot, what he'll do is look up, you know, like baseball. If somebody's diving, he'll look up like shortstop photos and, you know, find a bunch of random but really cool like Sports Illustrations. But he can use those to kind of gain an idea where like that vein kind of pops out of the leg, you know, just a little bit.
Yeah.
Those are always good things to study.
What do you think the most important thing that you've studied so far is?
Probably like physicality, maybe like body language and stuff. That's probably the one thing I know I picked up on, and that I love studying, because that, yeah, I do that every day. So like, even if I don't know my anatomy, sometimes I can, you know, rely on the ability to kind of get a gesture or an idea down, and then study the actual anatomy to find, you know, a better solution. But it'll get me to places where I couldn't easily do before. Or if I sat there and, you know, tried to stare down a perfect anatomy that I'm looking for, the idea, if I get some kind of basic idea down, it's always way easier to move on from there.
Now, do you use any programs or anything like that for anatomy?
For anatomy?
Mm-hmm.
No.
No.
No,
I guess
I use a lot of like tricks and a lot of sketchiness. But then also, actually, there's a couple, maybe I have a couple like Tumblr places that I found that of good tutorials to use. They're just like, you know, those good rundowns of, one of them was, you know, the shape of the fat on the body, like how it would, you know, sit in different ways, like scanning, it's, you know, got a certain kind of roll to it. And then sitting, it'll kind of push out a little bit and become a little bit more taut, in a bunch of little things like that. I love kind of staring at those for a while, or having them on the back corner.
all right. I think one of the most important things that I've studied before is the importance of drawing through with John Lowe. John Lowe is one of the professors here at Savannah College of Art and Design, and
he's awesome.
Yeah, he has this class called Environments, Process, and Structures, and that's by far one of my favorite classes here at SCAD. I learned the most from there. I worked the hardest in that class. Not to say that I didn't work hard in other classes, but it was just, it pushed you, you know? And throughout his class, he would teach you how to draw every side of an object at the same time. So it's kind of like a wireframe.
Mm-hmm.
And that wireframe technique is awesome. We reviewed a lot of Scott Robertson a lot.
Yeah.
Reviewed a lot of Scott Robertson. I actually have two of his book, the How to Render and How to Draw books. Those are two awesome books. I don't know if anybody out there has them. I'm sure some of you do, but if you don't, those are must-have books, without a doubt.
Yeah, I'm glad now I can read them.
Yeah, and I actually also just got this Behind the Pixels book from Mark Molnar. And this book should be a good read. I flipped through it a little bit and it has a lot of good stuff in it so far. And I'm going to steal little snippets from it and try and apply it to some of my stuff. Do you have any art of books that you've grown to love?
I have a couple of random ones. I have a Norman Rockwell. I have like two. Let's see. Hold on. Out of my art books, I love covers. This is the cover run, the DC comic art of Adam Hughes book. It's pretty awesome. He goes through like his whole DC run as just a cover artist, and he kind of breaks down. He talks about like how he would view a page or set up a page. Sometimes like the things he had to figure out on the fly, or things he learned as he progressed throughout the series of doing the covers. So like he started, this cover palette to be a little bit more bright pinks and yellows and things, and then by the end he'd be like, all right, now I want to push less color, more muted palette, and see if I can still make an interesting cover. So it was just really cool to hear his whole thoughts on a 20-year run in comic book covers. Like, pretty impressive.
How many has he done?
I mean, he started in the 80s. Yeah, let me see. The first one is his Mr. Miracle. Wow. It doesn't say a day. But yeah, he started in like the late 80s, I believe. And then he did a long run on Catwoman. He did a long run on Wonder Woman before that. And he was one of the first kind of comic book guys to embrace the digital coloring and, kind of breaking the normal traditional comic book way of coloring on a page or doing something like that. Definitely cool art to check out. But other than that, I have two random Norman Rockwell books that I just picked up. I like a garage sale and a bookstore. I just had a little bit of everything. And the other book is Drew Struzan's movie Coasters.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and it's, I think, up until like episode 1. I think it's the last thing in here. Yeah, so it's a really cool book. There's not as much like talking or anything because he's a very quiet man. If you want to know about Drew Struzan, there's definitely that awesome documentary. Came out 2 years ago. No, but it's basically about his whole, you know, life story. And he's a very interesting dude. You know, he's the guy that is an artist that knows some synergy. But yeah, those are my articles. I read from time to time.
I think some of my books that I've studied from are, I have Brahms' book. Brahm is awesome artist. I think I talked about that last stream. And I think pretty much everything in there's oil paintings.
Yeah.
Got The Art of Blizzard, which is an awesome book to read, to flip through. And the 3D Totals digital painting techniques books. Those are pretty cool. And then I think one of my favorite like sketchbooks that I've had so far is by Darren Quatch. I hope I'm saying that right. But he pretty much just released this whole sketchbook in a book, and it's super cool.
Cool.
To see his process.
Yeah, I wish I could have like all the art books in the world, because every time I see one, especially because I know like Jeff Parker, I know that artist. He puts out like a really cool sketchbook like almost every year now, I think. And they're phenomenal. And I wish I could just buy all the art books. Because it's always cool to see somebody else and how they process, you know, start to finish a job, or sometimes they'll just post up unused art. And I don't know. It's always cool.
So if any viewers out there have any questions, feel free to go ahead and ask. Nearing the halfway mark on our stream right now. So and also the importance of learning some of your programs is that you know how to manipulate images pretty well. Not saying that raw painting is bad, but I am saying that a knowledge of the program can help you achieve realism if that's what you're going for. Some people don't like that.
I stick to, I don't know. I like cartoony sometimes. Like, I think Bruce Timm is a great artist to look at if you ever want to like have super simplified designs. Because he, you know, a lot of the shapes that the Batman cartoon created, the guns were just like, you know, almost L shapes, but they worked. They were guns. I don't know. I like that sleek, simple stuff sometimes.
Yeah, I think a lot of times that those are almost harder than achieving realism.
Yeah. Well, you know why? It's because you still have to study the thing. You still have to like know what the thing is.
But you have to be able to simplify the shape.
Yeah, you have to find the thing that, you know, will make everyone look at it and go, oh, yeah, that is that.
What's the hardest thing that you've had to study so far, or something that you're not fully comfortable with?
Not fully comfortable with? I'm going to say there's sometimes animals, just moving animals. I'm not so, like I can get it, but I always second guess a lot of what I do when I do it. And women, I need to get better at women. I'm all right, but
see, I'm terrible
I'd like
at
to be able
male.
to draw like a lady as well as I could draw like a dude with a cigarette in his mouth. You know, another thing that is good about studying. Do you know another good thing about studying?
I
would say a great thing for studying is it allows you to open up in your drawing more. Like that, when I was talking about simplifying, opening up your ability to grab anything and go and keep drawing and keep going.
I think that's the hardest thing about studying, honestly, is not liking it.
Oh yeah, that is that.
You know, like fighting against yourself. That's something that I do a lot. But you can't quit. You know, you just gotta push on through it. Especially with like mechanical parts, it's pretty hard for me to just look at something and draw it without completely understanding it, and that's something that I'm trying to get around.
I think that's what I'm trying to do with this gun, and it's not working. So I need to go back and study more.
I mean, I think that kind of just goes into the functionality. Like, what is the function of a gun? What's the function of the barrel? What's the function of the firing pin, the trigger, all of that? Like, for example, the function of a barrel is to shoot a bullet straight. And if the barrel's not straight,
oh, you mean
it's
that?
going to kind of break the illusion.
This one?
There you go.
Yeah, I'll go back to that.
I think something that you have a strong grasp on is the position of fingers.
Fingers?
Yeah, I was talking to somebody yesterday about that, and I think a big part about drawing a good hand is having a different perspective point for each finger.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times people draw them with one perspective point, and they don't turn at all. They're always straight. They can bend, but they're always straight. You know.
Well, you know what that comes from? Studying fingers. Because I have weird hands. I will say I have like one finger that kind of like curves. So I used to draw my hands all the time, and people would be like, "Your hand, that looks very weird." And I'd be like, "That's my hand," and then they'd be like, "Oh God, that's your hand." So to remedy that, I started to look at like a lot of different ways to draw hands and different people's hands, and how, you know, if somebody holds, like, there are times that somebody will hold a sword exactly like, you know, you see most drawings of somebody holding a sword. But sometimes they have a little bit of like lean in that, you know, hold, or they have like, you know, one finger in a weird position. And I always find that is very interesting. And that's some of my favorite parts of like going through and studying like hands. I did that as a thing, and that's where it comes from. I love drawing hands.
We actually got a question from Zachary, he's a student here at SCAD.
Oh, cool.
I believe he's game development.
Oh, cool.
I think he's interested in concept art. I knew that. He said, "Hey guys, I appreciate the stream related to learning more about digital painting and corresponding software. Any particular resources you both would recommend? What resources have been helpful to you?" I think the number one resource right now, Gumroad.
Gumroad.
Without a doubt, Gumroad is the best resource for learning any program for our field. I have at least $500 worth of tutorials from there.
Yeah, nice. I'm gonna say I'd go to you on that. I'm a Luddite for the most part when it comes to looking at stuff. Like I stick to my Loomis book every now and again, or I'll look up, like I said, my things on Tumblr. But I have gotten a couple different photo sets from them that were really good for, I think there was like a leaping sword set or something like that. I don't know. But it was great.
Another thing that I do also is I listen to art podcasts constantly while I paint and while I draw. I think it's kind of become an obsession of mine. But that stuff has leaked in.
Yeah.
You learn a lot from the industry. You learn a lot from the programs by watching and listening, and drawing right beside them. I think that's a really big thing about getting better is not only studying the things that you want to paint, but studying the techniques and the way that other people paint. For example, when I used to play Halo, like professionally, semi-professionally, the way that I got better is just getting my ass kicked over and over and over again by these players who are so much better than me.
Yeah.
But in the end, when I stopped playing and went to college, I was almost or just as good as most of the people that I had befriended. So that's a really good tip out there, is to just find some art friends who are better than you.
Oh yeah, they'll push you. They'll definitely you'll either find that thing where you just want to be like, hey, look at the cool stuff I'm doing. So you want to have cool stuff to show your art friends.
Yeah.
Or you get that part where you have that friendly competition. And I know first episode we talked about cooperation, but there is, I think, cooperation, friendly competition. It helps you keep going instead of being complacent ever.
Yeah. I don't think a real artist could ever be complacent. Can ever be content.
No. Never.
There is no end, by the way. You're never there.
That's a good thing. That should make you feel good, because that means every day you're going to study something and find some nugget and be better. That's, I think, one of the cool things I've started to realize as I go, all right, I'm going to do art more as my life. That is what I'm doing. I find that every day I get to study things and take in things that I wouldn't think about. I wouldn't consider if I, weren't trying to get an accurate description on life and things around me.
I don't think we can ever get to the point where we're like, oh God, we made it. And I feel like if we do, it's not going to last very long. Like, oh, cool. All right. Well, I've been here for 2 days. What's next?
I would actually feel awful. Yeah. If tomorrow I woke up and stopped feeling like I needed to know something better.
What's the point of it after that? It's kind of like a scientist. They're never going to be like, oh, we're there. All right, we did our job, guys. Let's go home.
Yeah. All right, we're done.
There's no more science left.
We went to the moon. That was it. What, the other ones? Nah.
What other ones?
We're done. We did it. We did the one thing. No, you'll always find yourself in that. I mean, yeah, there are those times where you get down on yourself and consider that like you're not doing anything. But if you're really willing to put in the work and really take the time to study and know your art and know what things you are drawing from and want to build upon, you'll do it. Insert Shia LaBeouf video.
Just do it. Oh, would you look at that?
Just look at that. Oh yeah, I forgot to close it. That was and bang bang. Well, I had some fun on this.
Oh, Zachary, he mentioned Chris Oatley and Paper Wings. Control Paint has been a good free resource too. Control Paint is awesome. It's kind of like Gumroad. It's a tutorial website. I guess also I should recommend some other websites like Level Up, Bobby Chu's Schoolism, FCD, that's Feng Su School of Design. God, there's so many good resources out there. Robot Pencil, Anthony Jones's stuff. James Pike has some awesome Gumroad tutorials. There's a number of people out there who are doing awesome stuff for the community.
Yeah, I know. I will definitely get a list that we can put up like links and stuff, because I have a bunch of like photo people that I follow on DeviantArt or Tumblr that definitely would be something for people that if you're looking for extra places to go for just specific things or random things, really random things. Like I have a Japanese website that just randomly poses things for you.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it does like, I think it's like, you can set it to 3 or 4 different settings. You can do like 30-second sketches or 2-minute sketches, but it'll just like flash random clip-arted still life images. It's good. They have one for animals too.
I had a website like that, Pixelovely, but the last time I checked, it was down. I don't know if anybody has any information on that, but yeah, Pixelovely used to be an awesome resource, and I don't know what happened. Since then, I've actually gathered and started storing my reference on my actual computer, and I've made like slideshows and stuff out of my own poses that I've collected.
You should do like a slideshow event.
What do you mean?
Like put it up somewhere.
I would, but like some of them I've bought, and I don't feel comfortable also releasing somebody else's photos, like Noah Bradley's photos.
Well, no, I meant you should like have a whole presentation on making files.
Oh yeah.
Like,
yeah, I would have to filter out some stuff, but
yeah. That's definitely a thing, you know. You gotta also pay homage to the things that you're studying, and like, yeah, like, you know, you were saying with Noah, what's his name? Noah
Bradley.
Noah Bradley. Yeah. Credit always needs to go to where credit is due.
And if you do studies, post up what you studied from. Tell people. People can give you better feedback, and you never know, somebody might want to study that same thing.
Yeah, not too long ago, I posted up just did a random thing, like a comic book cover that I wanted to do, and it came from an older, like, pulp Western comic, and so I put up like all my references and things that inspired me for that piece, and then I put them up to kind of show the full thing.
All right.
I'm trying to think of the artist. There's a really good Paulo Rivera. He used to run a really good blog for like his whole process, and studying like his blog was a great resource for a lot of references in comics, and then coloring as well, and then design. And he would put up his own reference that he would use for whatever project. And they were always really interesting. You know, he had one where it was actually like a dude on fire, you know, like the fire retardant stuff, but it was like them doing different poses and shapes. It was cool.
All right.
Mm-hmm. And he was really
scary, but
muscular, so he would always pose himself, which, you know, that's the Frazetta way.
awesome. Well, if anybody has any last questions, we're nearing close to the end of the stream.
Goodbye, everyone.
Good night. Yeah, I don't think we do have any more questions. Thank you guys for watching. If anybody has any comments or concerns, if you want to tell us that you like the stream or have any ideas for the stream, just go ahead and PM me. All of our information is in the description, and we will try to post a list of books and Gumroad tutorials and stuff that you can purchase online in this description. So thank you guys.
See you guys later.